Today we're gonna build Springtrap, aka the yellow rabbit from Five Nights at Freddy's out of Lego.
Let's begin.
Now before we begin with this build, let's talk about the essential parts of this character. First off, he's yellow, and second, he's a rabbit. This is an important thing to note because he is not gonna be yellow. Yeah, I don't have enough yellow to make this build. Sorry. Instead, we're going to use the pieces from this buildable Yoda we got back in 2019. So instead of him being the yellow rabbit, he's going to be the tan rabbit. That was not my intention. I wanted him to be yellow. So I'm just going to say this is my own unique take on the yellow rabbit. So his design's not going to be 100% accurate to the games or the movie or even the books. So now with all that said,
let's begin. Begin. I haven't actually built in this scale before. I usually build in a scale like this, which is fun to do, but I wanted to challenge myself a little bit with Springtrap. So instead I want to do a bigger, more bust-like character. So let's first start off with the head right here. I went into this with the mindset of this being an actual animatronic. So I have the endoskeleton shell underneath and I put the skin on top of it. Does that even make any sense? Like I said, this is supposed to be yellow. It's not yellow, it's tan. I did add some yellow pieces into it, but I just don't have enough yellow pieces to do a full-blown yellow rabbit. Here's the front and here's the back. As you can see, I added some teeth underneath right here. I want to make him have little buck teeth, so that's why he has these two here and there's some spaces in between. Let's add the side. There we go. I didn't realize how fragile this actually was. Next, let's add the top part of his nose right here. But now with the bottom part of the head done, let's focus on the top part of the head. Here is the top part of the head, and as you can see, I added the black eyes with the white pupils, as this is my favorite look for the animatronics. It just looks really creepy. But for the sides right here, we're going to use two 2x3 plates, as well as a 1x4 plate up top. And the idea for this is kind of to round out the head, because it's a bit square at the moment. So adding this on three sides kind of helps round it out a bit. But for the top holes right here, we're gonna add his ears using these little funky pieces right here that just slide right in, just like so. And the ears we're just gonna clip on top like that. This is a pretty simple ear build. You got two ball joint pieces here, a couple of these clip side pieces, I don't know what they're called, and then plates on top. I was having a bit of difficulty trying to get the curve on top of his ear, and this is kind of the best I can do. I'm not super happy with it. I could probably add some like brick underneath there to kind of make that all clear, but from the front I think this looks pretty nice. And then we have to add the second ear, which is damaged just like in the game / the movie. And as you can see, the top part is all done. So now let's combine it with the bottom part of the head, just like that. It just fell apart again. Why are you falling apart on me? There we go. We kind of got an ignited animatronic going right now, but we need to add his bottom jaw as well as a ball joint here to connect it to the torso. Let's add the ball joint here. I made it purple because it's purple guy. I'm trying to create the illusion that he's actually in the suit and he's purple. I'm not sure how well that turned out, but you know, the idea is there, the vision's there. Next, we're gonna add these ball joint pieces back here, just like that. And then for the bottom part of the jaw, it looks kind of like this. It's a bit square for my liking, so we're gonna add some tiles right up here, which is just this simple build right here. And it kind of rounds it out a bit. It kind of rounds it out a bit. I wish the teeth weren't as square, but it kind of adds to the animatronic atmosphere. That's not the right word. What am I trying to say? You get what I'm saying. And now let's actually add some cheese slope pieces to the side. This was not part of my original build, but I completely forgot to finish tiling it off. So there we go. Let's add this part back and just connect it. I probably should have done this differently, but there's his head all done, and as you can see, it looks a little bit creepy, and I kind of like that. It kind of adds the yellow rabbit / Springtrap aesthetic. If only he was yellow, which he's not. Let's just turn up the saturation, and there we go. It's all yellow. Yay, look at that. But now that is the head all done. Now the torso gets a little bit more interesting because we're actually using Technic. I never used Technic. This was stolen straight from the Yoda set that I borrowed the pieces from. That's why you have this whole weird mechanism thing here. I don't even remember what it was for. But we're just gonna say it's part of the design. This is the spring lock mechanic. I did, however, modify a good chunk of this. So this isn't actually like a one-to-one taken design from the Yoda build. I did add this ball joint piece connection right here. And I did change some other stuff around, but overall, that's where I got the pieces from. That's where I got like this whole thing here because I was just lazy. I didn't feel like taking it out. But anyway, we gotta add frames and stuff around it. So let's use this top part right here and just connect it on top like so. And as you see, that looks pretty nice so far, but we are not done yet because now let's flip it up to the front. Here is the front of the build. As you see, I used dark tan to recreate his belly, since I used the light tan for his actual fur, which this should be yellow and this should be tan. And these jumper plates here are to hold something very interesting. Well, first let's just connect it to that like so, and these jumper plates are actually going to hold his bow tie, which I created this very simple purple bow tie design since he is the purple guy. I think that looks really nice. It kind of sticks out a bit too far for my liking, but if you see it from the front, it looks completely fine. But flipping it to the back, we're just going to use this basic plate that way I built back here, which does create the similar design we have up front, but without his belly. Just connects like so. And the sides are where it gets interesting, because this is where the arm's going to connect. So let's just move this to the side real quick, because this is the basic design for the arm. We're using these ratchet joints here and just a beginning part of his arm. I have a connection here in case I ever want to expand this build. You're probably wondering, how exactly am I going to connect this arm to the body frame? Well, I'll show you in a second, because we actually have to finish up this arm, which is very simple. We're just covering up this joint even more, just using these simple 2x3 plates. This top part is exposed, which is fine because it's actually going to be covered by the body, so we're a-okay, we don't have to worry about that. But let's go back to the body. Back to the body, and we flip it to the side. As you can see, we have a Technic pin right there, and that's actually where we're going to connect it. It's gonna be a weird connection. It's not 100% a good technique. I'm not sure if you should do it, but for the lower part of the torso, we're going to do that first just to make it easier, because the arm will be covering that. The top part is where we're finally going to connect the arm. This is going to be a bit of a weird connection, so I'm not sure how well it's going to look on camera, but just like that. It's not the best connection in the world. It kind of flips side to side, but honestly, I think that's fine. I actually kind of like it does that. But now for the rest of it, the yellow rabbit does have this little hangover piece that like all the animatronics do. So to do that is very simple. We're going to connect this part here, and then this second part right here. And as you see, there's a subtle change in elevation here, and as you can see, that's how it turned out. I have like no issues with it. I think it looks great. But let's do the other side real quick, which is just like this side, but you know, the other side. There we go. The torso is now all done, but the last thing we need to do is connect his whole head assembly, which is just connected using this ball joint. It's not the best connection in the world. I wouldn't recommend it. The yellow rabbit is now officially complete, and honestly, I think he looks fantastic. I love the way he looks. My only issue is that he is not yellow, but honestly, I think the tan works out kind of well for him. I'm probably going to go back to this design and make all this tan yellow just so it to be a bit more accurate. I would love to make his head turn using a motor, like make him like an actual animatronic. That would be fucking sick. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. That's going to involve lots of like engineering, none of which I'm qualified for. So anyway, that does conclude the yellow rabbit. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy. Bye.